Hey guys, thanks for stopping by my channel today. My name is Gina, and I believe there's more to life than looking good, but you've got to look good too. So today, we're trying to look good today and then also in the future because I'm going to be talking about skincare. This is part 2 of my two-part series on skincare, particularly for those of us over the age of 40. My first part 1, which I will link in the cards above, was where I kind of talked about some of my foundations to my skincare routine and some of the things that I had decided I had learned over time about what had worked best for my skin. And now today I am going to talk about all of the products that I use and kind of the science behind it. I'm not going to get like explicit about it, but I do firmly believe in understanding why you do things. Like, don't just tell me what to do, tell me why you think it's a good idea. So when I talk about the different particular ingredients that I'm a fan of when it comes to taking care of my skin, I'm really just gonna highlight like the best parts of those ingredients, like kind of why I chose them, because some of the products have like 6 different amazing ingredients, but I don't wanna keep you here all day. So I'm gonna give you just kind of the important stuff. And I'm not gonna get too scientifically technical, although some of the processes are a little interesting and I will do my best to explain those. Let me clarify that my skin is literally very dry in some places and oily in other places. So it's not that I have like combination skin where it starts off kind of dry during the day and then gets oily later. No, I have places that are oily and places that are dry, which was part of the challenge when I was selecting some of my products. I do still break out. No, my skin is not perfect right now, but I will say it is probably in the best shape of my life, which is good to know considering that, you know, skin becomes a challenge as we age. And I do think that my skin when I was much younger had a much harder time just kind of regulating itself or the environment. But I also think that we know so much more and that I'm absolutely taking better care of my skin, in which case I am addressing my skin's specific needs. Whereas I feel like when I was a teenager, when I was younger, it was kind of just throw a bunch of products on your face and hope something sticks. So we're gonna get a little bit more technical and a little bit more appropriate than that today. So I mentioned in my skincare routine that in part 1, that I don't wash my face, and I don't. So you're not going to see a cleanser from me. But of course, I do, you know, take my makeup off. And so I will walk you through that. But I will tell you, as I said in part 1, I got a lot of products because I like to be very specific with my ingredients. So I get out of the shower in the morning. In the shower, I barely even splash water on my face because water dries out my skin. When water evaporates, it takes the natural moisture out of my own skin. Did you ever notice when you put water on your face, it feels like tight when you're done? And I even have, you know, kind of oily skin as well. So I don't have like strict dry skin. So I do not actually wash my face. I do not use cleansers even, because even though I've tried them all, the gentlest, the kindest, the creamiest, when I am done, my skin turns like ashy white and feels very tight, which to me indicates that moisture is missing. And that is not what I want to accomplish when I wash my face. So I come out of the shower, the first thing I do is I take micellar water. I have used the one by Simple in the bottle. I love it. And then I realized I like the wipes better. One, because there's more surface area. You're not using the same cotton pad like all over your face. And I have said 100 times that I use the ones by Kirkland. They're makeup remover wipes, but they have micellar water in them. The ones by Simple has 2 different kinds, not the makeup remover. Go for the micellar wipes because we love micellar molecules. Micellar molecules are pretty fascinating because they have the ability to remove dirt and oil while leaving your moisture behind. I could rub 100 of these all over well, that's an exaggeration. I could rub a few of these all over my face, and when I am done, I do not immediately feel like I have to reach for a moisturizer because the moisture of my skin, the natural moisturizer or moisture, is left behind because micellar only picks up, it's very particular. It only picks up dirt and oil, and so that is how I cleanse my face in the morning. Also, there's not much to take off, but a little bit of oil residue, maybe a little bit of like I don't even want to say dirt. What did I do? I cleaned my face the night before, went to bed. And if you change the sheets enough, then we're really not talking about anything significant. So over cleansing your face in the morning is definitely not necessary. So one of the products I like to use in the morning is vitamin C. So the product that I use is by Maelove. This one's a little bit new to me. I had been using the Olay Henrickson Truth Serum. That is a vitamin C serum. I still love it. I actually still own some of it, but I was branching out a little bit. The reason I decided to transition to the Maelove right now is because not only does it have the vitamin C, but it also has hyaluronic acid in it. Those two guys are so important. First of all, L-ascorbic acid, or LAAs, are the best form of vitamin C. Vitamin C is phenomenal for us because, first of all, it brightens your skin. It's kind of citrusy. It's vitamin C in nature. So it does give you a brightening effect. Also, it is an antioxidant. You will see that word 100 times, and until semi-recently, I didn't even know what that meant. An antioxidant means that you are literally kind of protecting your skin from the environment. This is what happens. When there is like natural pollution and dirt and just like gunk in the air, it lands on your face. And your face, the skin cells on your face don't like it. So they try to deal with it. In dealing with it, they release a byproduct called free radicals. Free radicals are what age us. The antioxidants, specifically in vitamin C, are what neutralize those free radicals. So free radicals, we are producing them, but we can't help it because there's garbage on our face. And that's kind of what the free radicals are also. In trying to fight the pollution that's out there, the byproduct of trying to fight it is kind of more gunk that's all over our face. And so in a nutshell and very simply put, vitamin C is an antioxidant and it helps us deal with free radicals, which can speed up the process of aging because it's like baggage. It's like baggage for your face. The other thing that's in this particular Maelove serum, I'm sorry, it's called Maelove the GlowMaker. It's called an antioxidant serum. It's built right in. The other thing it has is hyaluronic acid, and you will see that repeated in different products as we talk today. Hyaluronic acid helps build your skin's moisture barrier. It is what helps you retain moisture. So moisture is the key, even though I don't like that word. Like the word moist is not much better when you say moisture. But hydration, how about hydration? Your face stays hydrated. The benefit of that, think about your hands. When your hands get dry, they look all cracked. Or your feet. Think about when your feet get dry. They get cracked and flaky and nasty. So your face, the skin cells on your face do the same thing. We want them to stay hydrated. Hydrated is also protection. And so the more hydrated it is, it will, not that it will reduce your fine lines, but it reduces the appearance of your fine lines and helps prevent fine lines and wrinkles not form when you stay hydrated and moisturized. So that is the vitamin C, the GlowMaker antioxidant serum with vitamin C and hyaluronic acid. Typically, I will then go in, and this, like I said, this is in the morning. Typically, I will then go in with the Peter Thomas Roth AHA BHA Acne Cleansing Gel. So this has 2% salicylic acid and 10% glycolic acid. In a nutshell, alpha hydroxy acids are this is similar to like a chemical peel. So they are responsible for cell turnover on the surface of your skin. Same thing. We don't want garbage, we don't want baggage, we don't want dead skin cells sitting on our skin because apparently our body makes dead skin cells and doesn't quite know what to do with them efficiently. So it needs a little bit of help. Alpha hydroxy acids deal with your skin surface garbage. The beta hydroxy acids, they go a little deeper. They wind up cleaning out deeper into your pores so that hopefully they don't get clogged and hopefully they stay clean. The cleaner that your pores are, the smaller they look. They actually wind up looking swollen the more garbage they have kind of sitting around in there. Ew, that's nasty. Okay, so this is a chemical way to clean off and clean inside into the inner layers. I mean, you aren't going all the way deep, but just to kind of get in there and clean out just a little bit inside your skin. And that is a chemical way to do it. That is because dermatologists typically, you can chemically peel your skin, and then you can also like physically, like with an exfoliant. I've heard for the most part that dermatologists aren't really fans of the physical exfoliants, kind of like your scrubs. But I am going to mention a few at the end of this video. But chemically getting rid of dead skin, oh my gosh. Chemically getting rid of dead skin cells is definitely the better way to go. One of my holy grail products, I think this is like my 4th tube. This is something that I use both day and night. This is by Paula's Choice. This is the Resist Omega Plus Complex for all skin types. It fortifies and nourishes skin. The main ingredient, and this is a serum. Actually, let me back up. The Maelove GlowMaker is liquidy. Like you can like pour it like water. The Peter Thomas Roth acne clearing gel, this is like a gel. This is a gel. Paula's Choice, this is what they call a serum, but it's like a creamy serum. So they're all kind of different. That's kind of fun. So the reason I like this is because the omega acids, or the omega fatty acids, specifically 3, 6, and 9. Most of the time those guys are all together, but sometimes some products only have like 6, or they have only 6 and 9, I don't know. But it's the omega fatty acids 3, 6, and 9. This is, again, moisture and hydration for your face. But the most compelling thing about the omega fatty acids that I found was that it deals primarily, it works to plump your face, but in doing so, it also helps address dry, flaky patches. And that is something that I have, because my skin quite can't balance itself. And when it gets too dry, I get dry, flaky patches. I also treat my acne, which then gives me kind of like surface dehydration. And so the omegas are all about their fatty acids. So they're a nice way to kind of plump up your skin, and the more moisturized your skin looks, the less the wrinkles and things show up. Let me make this one point. Depending on, the reason I've got all 3 of these guys, let's say, is because sometimes I don't use them all. If my skin is really irritated, I'm not going to use the AHA and the BHAs. I don't want to add a little bit of chemical exfoliation to my skin if my skin is really hydrated. Sometimes if it's mildly hydrated, I'll use the Maelove. And then I'll use the Paula's Choice as a way to really give my skin some moisture, give it a little bit of a barrier or like a cushion, and then I will use the clearing gel. So I can kind of mix and match as long as I am listening to my skin. And it has different needs. There are some days where I don't use this at all. If my skin is just super angry, then we don't use it, and we strictly go in for moisturization. By the way, vitamin C, for the most part, unless you have a specific allergy to vitamin C, is pretty friendly for everybody. And it is one of the most, as I was saying, powerful antioxidants that there are. So of course I do use sunscreen. Please go check out that video. I just did a video all about sunscreen and what are the best kinds and not good kinds and what do we like. So one of my favorites is by Elta MD. This is the UV Clear Broad Spectrum SPF 46. Interestingly, they call this a facial sunscreen. It is not a sunscreen moisturizer. It is strictly a kind of sunscreen. However, one of the key ingredients in it is niacinamide. Niacinamide is like, it's like a super giant. It is specifically one of your best friends. One of the things that niacinamide does, by the way, is moisturize your skin. And so I think they specifically don't call this a moisturizer because it doesn't have like oils or anything else that naturally goes into other moisturizers, but niacinamide is pretty incredible. First of all, niacinamide, generally speaking, is one of the friendliest skincare ingredients that there is. It is very unlikely, although still possible, but it is very unlikely that you will have some kind of negative reaction to niacinamide. Niacinamide also gets along really well with others. which I think is hilarious. Sometimes when you mix products, they'll kind of neutralize each other or make your skin irritated. Niacinamide definitely works well with others also, which is great because you can use it then to complement the other products that you already use. So niacinamide, by the way, happens to be vitamin B3 or a form of vitamin B3. I've talked about vitamin C. We're going to talk about vitamin A in a little while. I already mentioned that niacinamide works to help add to the moisture on your face and make sure that your skin is not drying out. So it is a moisturizing agent. Also, it does two other really important things. Niacinamide is an anti-inflammatory. It works against inflammation. So whether you have breakouts, which is basically inflamed skin, or maybe you've got some mild levels of rosacea. I mean, obviously this isn't gonna cure your rosacea, but it helps to just it's a very calming sort of guy, niacinamide. And so it is anti-inflammatory, which for people with acne, that can be pretty important. The other thing that it does, in addition to like the salicylic acid or the BHAs that go deep into your pores, also niacinamide does as well. Instead of cleaning out what's already in your pores, it kind of calms. Remember, it's an anti-inflammatory, so it's kind of calming. It kind of doesn't stop, but it kind of calms your sebum production. Sebum is the natural oils that we produce in our pores. And if we have too much sebum, that's where many people, but not all, but many people get acne from. And so the niacinamide kind of goes into your skin as a means of kind of regulating or calming down your sebum production, which then ultimately leads to less acne and less breakouts. Okay, so that's the morning. So now we've gone through the whole day and I'm wearing a full face of makeup and it's time to take that makeup off. So I always start with, I've talked about this 100 times. It's been in like favorites and best of, the year. And I want to tell you to buy this so that they keep making it, but I don't want to tell you to buy it because then when you buy too much, then I can't find it anymore. Anyway, this is by Neutrogena. This is the eye makeup remover hydrating lotion. So this literally is a cream. It's white and creamy, and it is what I use to take off my eye makeup. Whether it's waterproof or not, it is the gentlest thing that I have ever found for my eyes. Even when I get it in my eyes, it stings, but only a little bit. Because it's creamy, it doesn't seep into my eyes the way like a makeup oil does. And it just removes makeup beautifully. Next, I go in and I have to break what I call break down my makeup. Because if I were to go in with just a makeup remover wipe, I feel like I wear makeup products that are meant to long last and stay on there forever. That a makeup remover wipe, I'm working too hard against my skin and I don't want to rub against it so much. So what I love and what I recommended in my Sephora sale video that I posted recently, I use by Farmacy, the Green Clean Makeup Melt Away Cleansing Balm. It's a cleansing balm. Clinique makes one, and I know there are like half a dozen other ones as well. I like this one. I actually enjoy the scent quite a bit. I like when things smell nice. Even though I've got kind of funky skin, it doesn't necessarily respond negatively to fragrances. I've used and I've talked about the Trader Joe's cleansing oil, makeup removing oil, I should say. I don't like oils because when you put them, like I like to put them in my hand, and then when I put them in my hand, it drips all down the back of my hand. I don't like that. So this just goes on. It looks like it's similar to coconut oil, but it's a little bit softer. Coconut oil sometimes can get kind of hard, but it works in a very similar way. And I just kind of rub it all over my face in the areas where I have foundation, concealer, etc. It turns very soft, like melted butter, kind of. I guess you could use butter, but I don't think butter would be friendly to your skin. But just think of butter when I'm describing this. And so I've gotten to a point now where the makeup now will move around, and then I just go right back in. I typically at night will use 2 of the Kirkland Makeup Remover Micellar Water Wipes. The first one will get the just kind of makeup itself off, and then the second wipe I use to go in on a cleaner basis to make sure that as I wipe around all areas of my face that there is 0 makeup residue. And again, when I'm done even doing that, my skin does not feel tight and it does not feel like all of the life has been sucked out of it. If you want, this one by Farmacy, the Green Clean, is a little bougie. It's a little expensive. I have found as well from the drugstore, I use the Garnier Skin Active Soothing Cleansing Milk. I don't use water though. I literally just take it like a lotion and again, just kind of blend it into my face to get the makeup to the point where it is broken up. And then I use the 2 makeup remover wipes to take it off. My skin has never been happier ever since I started cleansing it that way. It just feels good when I'm done. And I think that that's an incredible sign. I'm not trying to treat it. I'm just trying to clean it. And when I'm done cleaning it, I actually don't feel miserable when I'm done. And you know, sometimes if necessary, I'll go in with a 3rd wipe if I feel like it wasn't clean, but I stop when my wipe comes off clean. And to me, that indicates that anything that needed to come off my face has come off. So at night, I treat with Retin A, but before, well, no, let's talk about Retin A. Retin A is vitamin A. Oh, I wonder if that's why they do that. I bet that's why they do that, because it's a derivative of vitamin A. So Treinoin is the generic name. You will see like retinoids or retinols, which are the ones that you'll find over the counter. They are a much milder strength than what you can get by prescription. I happen to have Retin A by prescription, predominantly for my acne, but this is what was interesting. Retin A was created however many decades ago. It was created, I think I heard around World War I times, but don't quote me on that because I've done a lot of research and that might have been another ingredient, but it's been around long enough. And it was created to treat acne. Interestingly, the science behind how it does it isn't shared very much. All that is stated is that Retin A helps reduce blackheads and whiteheads, as well as the red, sore, inflamed pimples that we get. It works to reduce those, but it doesn't really go into how much so, which I thought was kind of fascinating because I did a lot of research and it just got to the point where they just didn't necessarily, I'm not even sure they know, honestly, which I think is hilarious. But Retin A was originally created for acne until they realized that it was a phenomenal anti-ager. And so it was funny because I'll never forget the day the dermatologist prescribed it to me. She said, you know, so this will work on your acne, but it's also an amazing anti-ager. So it does a couple of things. The primary thing that Retin A is able to accomplish so well has to do with collagen. Not only does it stimulate collagen growth in your skin, but also reduces the breakdown of collagen that happens when we go out in UV light and sunlight and hit the pollution and everything, and age, actually, because as we age, we also lose the levels of collagen that we started with when we were younger. Collagen is like, it's the negotiator. It's what keeps your skin together. Collagen is the elasticity. It also has an element of moisture. Collagen is actually a protein. It is the most common protein that we have in our body, and it's found in other places besides our skin. So it's the strength behind our skin. And so when your skin is not as strong, it starts to droop. And when you droop too much, you get a fine line, and that fine line gets exaggerated as a wrinkle. And so for some reason, Retin A is able to not only, like I said, stimulate collagen, but prevent it or slow it down, slow down its breakdown, which is phenomenal. The other thing that you'll hear about Retin A is that Retin A works really good for the texture of our skin. That's because it actually thins out kind of the top layer of your skin. And in doing so, in thinning it out, it's almost like it's been buffed. So it will actually appear to have a much smoother texture, which is also awesome. Finally, one of the things that Retin A is able to do is it actually dispenses what they call melanin molecules. Melanin is like skin pigmentation, and when you have a high gathering of melanin, that's where you have some dark spots. And so melanin is able to kind of get in there and break them down and cause them to dispense so that the dark spot is not nearly so obvious. So I think that Retin A is so interesting because it was started for acne and still treats acne, but it actually has become just a phenomenal anti-aging guy. So because you thin your skin, this is why you have to protect it with sunscreen, because now you're a little bit more exposed to UV light. They used to say that you really shouldn't use it during the day. That kind of doesn't hold as true anymore. It's more looked upon now as being preferable to use Retin-A or your retinoid products at night. But if you do use them during the day, just make sure that you use a sunscreen with them. Going along with what else I use at night, I've mentioned these ingredients already, but it is a way for me to isolate them. I use by Peach and Lily, I get this at Ulta, the Glass Skin Refining Serum. This is a Korean beauty product. The two dominant ingredients in here are niacinamide and hyaluronic acid. These work very well with Retin-A and do not cause Retin-A to break down in any way. But again, with Retin-A, because it is kind of working with your sebum production as well, meaning you're not having as much oils be released onto your skin, you may get irritated. A lot of people have to build up a resistance to it, meaning use it every third day and then every other day, and then you're able to use it every day. Typically everybody comes around, but sometimes getting started on it isn't always the best. So I like to go in at night with something that can kind of complement the Retin-A that is kind of, like I said, potentially drying out my skin. And so you do wind up just having to be wary of that when it comes to retinol products or Retin-A. So I love using at night a niacinamide and hyaluronic acid product that does not have vitamin C. And that's what the Maelove has that I use in the morning. I do not want to use vitamin C at night, and so I wanted just something that was the pure moisture in and of itself. By the way, in the past, I have also used products by The Ordinary, which are super friendly when it comes to pricing, but they make a specific hyaluronic acid as well as niacinamide. And honestly, off the record, you can mix them in the same bottle and nothing happens. I'm not saying I tried it, but I was curious what might happen if I put them in the same, since I saw that Peach and Lily put them in the same, and I have no idea. You can use them separately, but I figured they're both going on your face, so why not? But anyway, that being said, they are ridiculously inexpensive, and so that's another nice alternative. Okay, so P.S. I will go back sometimes at night, just depending on how much moisture or hydration I feel like my face needs. Sometimes I will use the Resist Omega Plus by Paula's Choice. That's got the omega fatty acids in there. Again, that works against the flaky skin and the dry skin. And so if my face is a little extra agitated from the Retin-A, which causes dry, flaky skin, then sometimes I go with that as well. Sometimes I use it in place of it. I mean, I honestly think too that changing it up gives your skin something to think about. And so keeping it the same all the time. Do you ever notice, like, when you try a new shampoo, you're like, oh my God, my hair's never felt so good before. Well, because you used a different shampoo. That might be part of what it was. And so that's kind of why, again, I have so many products, because I do like to kind of mix them around and not necessarily to commit to one order, same thing. Okay, so now I need to actually moisturize my face, because I do want to make sure my skin overnight gets to rejuvenate, because it's going to sleep too, and it's trying to rebuild, and it's not being bothered by the environment, or unless you're outside camping. So I mentioned this before. This is by Biossance. This is the Squalane Plus Omega Repair Cream. This is a very luxurious cream, not terribly expensive in the grand scheme of things, but it's got the omega fatty acids in it as well. And that again works to combat the dry and flakiness, and then also, like I said, kind of keep moisture within your skin. I'm looking around because I definitely want to comment on Squalane, and I forgot what it specifically was. Yes, I found it. Squalane. There's a lot of ingredients here. I'm trying to make sure I remember them accurately, actually. Like a test where you could like actually put the wrong answer down. No, we're not trying to do that today. So Squalane also is like a moisturizer, but what's really cool about Squalane is that it is very similar to our own skin's membrane, and apparently our skin likes things that are similar to it. So because it is a moisturizer that is similar to the identity that our skin tends to receive it much better. I thought that was so fascinating. It's like, oh, it's like they're friends. So the Biossance it's not like La Mer, but it's not cheap either. So something else that I will also use sometimes, strictly for the way it feels. This is by Garnier. This is the Skin Active Soothing 3-in-1 Moisturizing Day-Night Cream or Mask. This is a very thick, a very heavy moisturizer. It is like a mask. you will feel it mildly sitting on your skin. But if your skin is ever just not happy and feels tight, feels like it's windblown, sunburned, over chemicalized, over product, I put this on at night and it just feels amazing. And so if you're gonna get like your Omega stuff elsewhere, then maybe you don't have to get the Biossance moisturizer, and you can just get a really good moisturizer for overnight. Okay, let's wrap this up. I have a couple of things now that I use kind of randomly. Hold on, let me grab it. Okay, so I don't have the original bottle because I was running out, and then I kind of decanted it for some travel. So this naked looking bottle right here, this is by Sunday Riley. This is the Juno treatment oil. I had been using argan oil. Oh my gosh, we broke up for so long now, I forgot what it was called. I had been using argan oil and I felt like it wasn't doing anything. I'm like, how am I putting an oil on my skin? And I feel like it's not doing anything. And so again, I did more research. This Juno oil actually has the omega fatty acids within it. It's kind of rich in that. It is an oil, and the fatty acids kind of like are an oil. And so I use this now just around my mouth if it happens to be extra dry, which it often is, just from like natural living. And I actually can notice a difference both in the way it feels around my mouth and kind of around my nose, as well as a reduction in dry flaky patches in that area of my face. If the Retin A at any point gets to be too strong and my skin gets too irritated, I will go in with strict aloe vera. This is an organic aloe vera gel that I got off of Amazon. I read a bunch of reviews on it. Aloe is an amazing soother. So if your skin is ever grumpy, if you try a new product and it doesn't go well, think about using aloe, because think about when you have a sunburn. The aloe makes your skin feel better. It helps your skin heal and calms it down. And so aloe vera gel works really well if my skin is just extra irritated. Okay, so when I get a breakout, I used to use benzoyl peroxide. Typically it was 2.5%, then it went up to like 10%. I'm like, yes, the more the better. And you know what would happen? My pimple would turn into a dry, crusty crown on my face. And I'm like, that's awesome. Because now when I put concealer on it to hide the redness, it looks like I have a white outline of like a mountain on my face. Oh my God, so frustrating. So I had read, and I have found that it doesn't not work. I found that tea tree oil is an amazing kind of pimple breaker downer. What I like about using tea tree oil, because it will get into your skin and kind of ideally break that pimple down. I'm not even sure, honestly, that the benzoyl peroxide ever did much, except having that negative reaction where it would just dry me out. So I feel better about things. See, I told you we weren't going to get very scientific. I feel better about things when I use a treatment oil, basically, because my zit doesn't get as dried out because you're putting a direct oil on it. It's a very tiny jar. It wasn't much money. It was about $8. And I just use it the way I would use like a benzoyl peroxide spot treatment on it. And ideally, at minimum, it doesn't make it dry out, which is kind of what I'm aiming for. Okay, last couple of things. I talked in the beginning of the video about how dermatologists are not necessarily fans of physical exfoliants. And when you think about it, yeah, taking scratchy molecules and rubbing them all over our face doesn't really sound like the best idea. All you wind up doing potentially is having just a red scratched up face. However, I will use it, again, back to the dry, flaky skin that I have around my mouth. Those flakes don't work well with makeup. And it gets to a point where you could try to moisturize and moisturize, but you're moisturizing dead skin. You know, you can only go so far to get that to kind of blend away, or, you know, I don't even know what you want. You just want them not to be there. That's all I want. I don't want my foundation to stick to dry, flaky patches, because then it just looks like I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'd like to think that I know what I'm doing. So I do use mild physical exfoliants on my chin and around my mouth. I stay away from my sinuses. I stay away from my eyes. I don't really have anything going on my forehead that needs to be addressed. It literally is like just right around here. Sometimes along my jawline, where I will get kind of hormonal acne a little bit. And so, okay, and that's just not a super sensitive area. So just nose and below is where I will use a chemical exfoliant. No, I'm sorry, a physical exfoliant. I picked up by Korres the Wild Rose Exfoliating Cleanser. Roses are known to have hydrating properties, which is why Fresh has an entire rose line, which I do like. This is a very mild skin exfoliant. If you think about the St. Ives, they had the peach apricot. They had the apricot scrub. Holy cow, you might as well rake your face with like metal. Then they had the mild one for sensitive skin, and even that still didn't feel that great. This is mildly better than that. So it's a little bit gentler, but you feel like you're doing the exfoliation to the max, but the gentlest way that you can. It is a little pricey. I do have a drugstore alternative. This is the old packaging. There is new packaging. This is by Olay. This is the Skin Smoothing Cream Scrub. But they're both creamy. And that I think is what's key too. This one by Olay is very inexpensive, sold at the drugstore. It's actually milder than this one. I'm not gonna say the name wrong again. But it is even just a little bit milder. So just depending on where I'm at, what I feel like using, I keep them both in the shower regularly. That was a lot of talking, and that was a lot of products and a lot of ingredients. So let me just summarize this real quick. Keep your skin moisturized. The more moisturized your skin is, the more alive and supple it will look, and the less likely and the less chance you give your skin to form a fine line or have it develop into a wrinkle. Of course, make sure you use sunscreen, but I made a whole video about that, so go check that out. But definitely use sunscreen. Niacinamide is one of the friendliest ingredients that you can use and does a variety of things. Hyaluronic acid is an amazing moisturizer, so keep that in mind. It also gets along well with others. And finally, antioxidants. Antioxidants are the things, particularly vitamin C. L-ascorbic acid is the thing that we want to use to try to just protect our skin and prevent the environment and natural aging to occur. I shouldn't say prevent, slow down. Slow it down as best we can. What I feel is so ironic is I have no idea if any of this is really going to work because I'm 41. I want to look good when I'm 60, when I'm 70. So I can only hope that what I'm using and what I've learned from science is going to get me there. But what I do know is this, in all of the products that I select, they feel good on my skin. And so if they don't feel good on my skin, even if the bottle tells me that it's supposed to make my skin feel good, then I don't use it. So I use things that I feel do not irritate my skin. I had used a vitamin C product once. Oh my God, my face felt like it was on fire. Because for whatever reason, it just didn't work, even though vitamin C is supposed to be so friendly. So listen to your skin. Consider not using all combo products to try to save yourself some time, because maybe using all of those ingredients all at the same time, all the time, may not be the best thing. And it could be one of the many reasons that we have some troubles with our skin. So thank you for spending your time with me. What do you want to know about? So I kind of glossed over a lot of stuff. What is something that one of these ingredients or one of these products that you want to know more in depthly? What are some of your favorite skin products? Definitely share those down below. I always invite you to subscribe to the G Crew, but I had decided that even more important than that, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, because that's important, honestly. I mean, just at the end of the day, you liking what I put out there is important. So again, thank you for spending your time with me. Please leave me a comment down below. Check me out on Instagram if you haven't already. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thanks.